Casual here. In this build guide I'm going to unpack the Pyromancer world record speedrun build created by Pomerons, how it works, critical mods, skills and class nodes, and whether it is right for you. The synergy in this build and its ability to deliver big damage is incredible. Even though I'm missing a couple of stats in my gear and still getting used to the rotation, it has beaten all of my previous best times. Let's get into it. The typical rotation of the Ash Blast overheat builds that have been the meta for some time is to use Heat Wave to activate the anomaly power buffs from the Akari gear set, hit Ash Blast, and then overheat, which through the buffed anomaly power master consumer delivers map wiping damage. This build doesn't work that way. It doesn't even use the Akari gear set or Heat Wave. Yes, the class tree of this build is similar to the top tree Ash Blast overheat builds. The top tree gives you access to Trial of the Ashes, which buffs your damage by 25% against enemies affected by Ash. Ashes to Ashes, which applies vulnerable for another 25% damage, while Death Sentence and Ashen Boost buff the damage further, all of which are activated by Ash Blast, which procs Hot Situation. The big difference with this build is that it uses volcanic rounds for its third skill. There are two reasons for using this skill. Firstly, it applies Burn, which buffs damage by 20% through bullet kindling, and also activates the increased damage of Master Consumer. Secondly, and what is really great build design, is that when Volcanic Rounds ends, Reload Boost provides you with a 50% anomaly power buff. What is great about this is that I can activate Volcanic Rounds and cancel it immediately by reloading or changing weapons to get a big buff to my anomaly damage. And that is the critical thing with this build. Damage exactly when I need it. Weapons mirror this core design feature. Funeral Pyre is the main weapon. Hip fire it so that it can hit multiple enemies at once, applying burn widely. It is modded with Shadow Comet and Claymore Torrent, which proc multiple times when multiple enemies are hit with one shot. Big damage on demand. The second weapon is the Roaring Umbra, modded with Kinetic Stomp and Moaning Winds. Fire one bullet to proc Kinetic Stomp. Then, if I need it, reload for Moaning Winds. Again, damage when I want it. My gear is rounded off with Power Assimilation, a great buff particularly in the New Horizon expeditions. Ash increased range to make sure Ash Blast hits every enemy on the minimap. Captain Hunter, Phoenix Force, and Detonator for cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction is one of the key stats on your gear, along with anomaly power and status power, the latter of which is important in keeping Burn and Ash up for as long as possible so that I can chain combos together. Picking up Marble Orchard and Wildfire also help to reduce cooldowns on my skills for this. With a 6.6 second cooldown on overheat, I can shoot enemies to apply Burn, hit overheat to proc Phoenix Force, reapply Burn again with one shot before activating Reload Boost, then Ash Blast and overheat again, all while the anomaly buffs are still active to deliver big AoE damage. This build could be made solely with epic armor pieces, as it only uses 5 tier 3 mods. Pomerons build does use the Akari chest piece, but you could replace that with an epic piece that has status power on it, which I think would make the build just a touch stronger. While this build is awesome at dealing controlled damage, it does suffer with one problem. If I screw up, miss a rotation, I am going to die. It is very unforgiving in this respect, which shouldn't come as a surprise given it is a speedrun build. To make it a little friendlier to use, I would swap out Phoenix Force for Damage Absorber, and if that is still not enough, run Ron Piece with max health on it. I don't think that Phoenix Force adds that much to the build, so you can safely do this and the build will still be very strong. This is a very active build with lots of weapon swapping, one-shots, reloads and skill rotations. But once you start to master these, you will see how powerful it is, with big damage always being available when you need it. But if this build is not for you, then have a look at this Pyromancer build, which also beats the hardest content in top tier times. Until next time, casual out.